Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I leave you with a message that I want some individuals to just contemplate a bit, and that is on why everyone is not welcome in every circle. Okay? Why everyone is not welcome in every circle. Now, I know some people who have experienced not being in certain atmospheres due to the color of their skin or their accent or where they're from or their social class. They may be a bit offended by a message like this because you're going on hurt feelings. Back in the day, I was ousted. I wasn't accepted. I get that. But I'm not interested in people's feelings today. Okay? When God lays something on my heart, we got to cast away our personal issues, what happened way back when, and understand why some circles you're just not going to get into. Okay? You're just not going to. Whether right, wrong, or otherwise, you're not getting in those circles. Okay? And then you get some people who will say, well, they're not welcome in my circle either. Okay, fine. Pay somebody back. That's the way they feel. Keep them out. The reason why we're not going to be accepting everyone and they're not going to be accepting us is because ultimately God has designed it that way. Let's use employment, for example. You know that you have a great resume. You know you have talked to different people who may be able to hook you up so that you could be able to get into a certain group. But let's just say that you don't get into that group. Let's just say that you don't get that job. You weren't welcome. Okay? You weren't accepted. And some people, they'll say, yeah, that's just how it goes. Most likely there was something on the resume that they didn't like, or maybe you took a personality test and the company realized that you're not going to be a good fit. Some people will grovel and complain about this sort of thing. But I should have been accepted because they really wanted to be a part of the group. They could have at least set up an interview, but they didn't. Now, are we going to keep complaining and groveling about it, or are we going to keep it moving? Well, the healthy mind, the functional mind, the logical mind says, yes, I'm going to keep it moving. Okay? I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. You see. Now, you got some individuals that they want to get into certain clubs. And that club looks you up and down and says no. But you should. Matter of fact, we're going to wage war. We're going to have a protest. You should let me into that club. Consider it a blessing that you're not in that club. Some people will find fault with the group because they weren't accepted. Everybody else got in but them. We don't know the reason. All we know is that they didn't get accepted. So then what they'll do is they'll fault find. They'll ask people who are in the group, how is it in there? In so many words, of course. Oh, it's good. Well, what about the way they were dressed? And I did overhear somebody say something on the way out, and it's good. Are you sure? Because so-and-so told me, and they used to attend the meetings. I told you, it's good. Look, you're just upset because you didn't get into the club. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Okay? We're not going to get into every circle. I know that sometimes that favor from that fraternal group is the way in. But some fraternal groups won't let other fraternal groups in. But why? Even if you were given 30 different reasons as to why, you would have 30 different excuses as to why they should. God is setting some people up where there is a season where, yes, you're still going to get blessed, but you're not going to be blessed by the group that you want to be blessed by. You're not going to be accepted by the group that you assume is going to accept you because you are this gender or that race or this cause or this one or that one, whatever you want to come up with, or this religion. No. But why, God? Why not? God is not the author of confusion. Some people, they're not getting into the group because God knows how you are. Some people are not going to get in the group simply because that group doesn't want a certain type of personality with a certain kind of background in their group, because they know we're not going to mesh. Some people are not going to be accepted into families. Oh, I'm going there today. They're not going to be accepted into families because you're not like us. And why would somebody want to be a part of a family that has rejected you from the start, the day you showed up? You think that sooner or later, all of that negativity isn't going to rub off on their son or daughter? We got some individuals who had to cut off family members because, oh, my husband, my boyfriend, my cousin, my whoever, you don't want to accept them? Nope. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, well then I don't accept you. Because I think your reasons for not accepting that person are ridiculous. Okay, fine. You're not accepted either. But wait a minute though. No. And so you got some folks that are caught in the middle between trying to be there for the ousted one while trying to maintain their position in the family, in the organization, the workplace, the group. Good luck with that one. Even though I don't believe in any luck. Luck is non-existent. At the end of the day, it's like this. Either you are going to be the individual who says, fine, I'm going to stand by my principles. I'm going to stand by my allegiance to, or you're not. The crossroads does show up where people have to make a decision. And I'll tell you that those that I observed, even within my own family, they made a decision. Their decision was that I'm going to stay over here with this group. Okay, fine. Because this group did this, that, and the other, and you're a troublemaker. Whatever you want. I really don't care. You see, when you walk with the Lord long enough, you don't care about whether somebody accepts you or doesn't accept you. You don't worry about, oh, once again, they didn't approve me for. You don't worry about the rejection. You don't worry about their reasons as to why they don't want you to be a part of the group, whether you feel that it is justified or not. You don't care. You see, that's healthy, functional. I don't care. Because you see, there is too many people, places, and things in this world to be wrapped up and concerned about the family that rejected me, or the family that don't like me because, or the family that feels that I am so bad and so terrible and such a troublemaker. Who cares? I don't cry about that sort of thing. I don't stay up late at night about somebody who thumbed down. Nine times out of 10, it's usually the one person anyway. And then there's about 30, 40, 50 others who liked. Who cares? Don't you care? I mean, Nicole, you could go very far if you would just listen to this. Accept. Accept what? Well, accept what? And then they outline the specifics. No, I'm not accepting that. But Nicole, you could have a bigger audience. I'm still not accepting that. Nicole, you know how much money you stand to make? I'm still not accepting that. Just like there are certain circles or affiliations that you're a part of that wouldn't accept my African American self. Uh-oh. Just like there's certain groups that you may be affiliated with that wouldn't accept my Christian self. Come on. Just like there's certain groups that won't accept me just simply being a woman, or me being from this particular area for the time being, accept the fact that I don't accept what you are putting on the table before me. You got to have some type of boundary, some type of principles. When they align with the Lord, they're totally valid in kingdom business. They're totally valid in the spiritual hierarchy. Yeah, humans, they have their issues. They have their frailties, right? But when you do things according to the will of the Lord, it doesn't matter what these people think, say. There's a grave for them just like there's a grave for us. And long after they pass away, this ship keeps moving. And we have bigger and brighter and better ideas with or without them. I want some people to be free of, I wasn't accepted. I want some people to be free of, they don't like me. I want some people to be free of, I just love him so much and I just wish the family would accept me. You might as well just either deal with all of what they're going to throw at you or you don't. I got some family members who they gave some people grief for being white. You know, we like to talk about, the unfairness of, being an African American and the man, he got my foot on, or he got his foot on my neck and all that. Please. We got some African Americans who they measure some white people in the same way that they've been measured. And sometimes they're even worse and more radical about it. Okay. And I watched how they played games with some white folks, how they ran circles around some white folks mentally, physically, and even spiritually. And these weren't just any kind of white people either. These were white people with the superiority complex, the white people who, I think I'm better than you. So I think I'm going to play a game to get into your circle to get what I want, and then I'll be out. And some of these relatives, they picked up on that and they got them before they got them. You see, kill or be killed type of mentality. I know what you're here for, and I'm not buying it. I know why you're being so nice and friendly, because you want my relative. I know why you keep showing up and sniffing, because you are after some ideas. Ooh, yeah. And so not everybody, just because they smile in your face, and some of these relatives did smile in some people's faces, just because they smile in somebody's face doesn't mean that they agree with them, doesn't mean that they accept them, doesn't mean that they're ignorant and stupid and they're going to go along with whatever you put before them. I know that for some individuals, yes, this is going to be the group that could help you. This is going to be the contract that's going to move you ahead. This is going to be the community that's going to give you all of what you wanted. But when the writing is on the wall that you are not accepted, you go to the Lord and find out where you will be accepted. You don't have to keep knocking on some doors. Now, for some people, if the calling is that you got to keep knocking on the door and knocking on the door like the persistent widow, then you keep on knocking on that door until somebody opens it and says, yes, come on in. But if that's not what your calling is, and the writing is on the wall, the signs are saying that these people don't want to work with you, that people have died and people have robbed and threatened and did all sorts of things, then maybe there's a door that's open elsewhere with better opportunity. Some of you all, you learned that. You said, wait a minute, maybe God isn't in the plan while I'm banging on this door and getting attitudes with these people and wanting to kick this door in. Maybe God isn't starting no protest or revolution over here, making it harder for yourself. Meanwhile, there's somebody over here like, I got the door open right here. I can work with you over here. But you insist on being over here because you call yourself wanting to make a point when God's not even behind you on this one. You over here stirring up a ruckus because you want to make somebody serve you and they don't want to serve you. And see, you got to be careful, especially when it comes to food, and you want somebody to break their rules, and you want somebody to host an event, and you want somebody to do all sorts of things for you because you don't agree with their rules and you don't like the fact that you're not accepted. That person, can mess with your food, right? While you raising protests, that person can make that event a mess for you while you trying to make waves and be the first what or who to come in and turn some things upside down. You know that, right? Meanwhile, these people over here do accept you. These people are willing to service you. These people are willing to open up their arms real wide and give you a big hug and kiss and tell you that everything's going to be okay and all right. I think that some people, even in this network, Lord Jesus, thank you for this, are knocking on the wrong doors. You are trying to fit in where no matter how much you knock, no matter how many protests, it's not the season for accepting you. And for some people, this is going to trigger. And I'm doing it on purpose because you need to be triggered to do what's right. They're not going to accept your kind. I thought that there was a time, one while, like everybody else, where, we're making progress. But we got some people that are being paid a lot of money to slow progress down. We got some people that are reminding some folks through all sorts of brainwashing, propaganda, that we don't want your kind here. And so, if you're not willing to fight that kind of war, you better go over here where that door is open. But if you are willing to fight that kind of war and you got God behind you and his angels of protection all around, then you go and you fight like never before. All these years we had this, that, and the other movement, and you mean to tell me that you want to go backward instead of forward? Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. We're going to wage war, spiritual warfare, right here in this area. So yes, you go ahead on and you tell me no with a smile on your face. But I got angels that'll work on my behalf. You see? But then, like I said, sometimes God says, it's not time. It's not the season. And you're going to lose this one. You better go when I tell you to go. You better wage the spiritual war when I tell you to wage it. Because you don't know what's ahead. I know that if you move in right now, come on now, even military coordinators, sergeants, what have you, will let their troops know when to go and when not to. Because sometimes you can enter into a war without a plan. You can enter into a war with a plan, but the season isn't right. The weather isn't right. The timing isn't right. There's some folks that's got some guerrilla warfare going on. And you may not have enough money. You may not have enough troops to go into that battle. You haven't given your spies enough time to locate where all of the booby traps are. So that's why we have to think before we go knocking on doors and knocking on doors some more and knocking on doors some more, wanting acceptance. Blessings to you. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. Like, subscribe, comment, and have a great day.